0044. List it, sell it, and move on. With me, David Brenneman, at 415-0044.
We all know life's busy, and if you get sick, you can get behind pretty quick. That's where Black Hills Urgent Care comes in. No appointments needed, no long waits, just fast, affordable care to get you feeling better quicker. Black Hills Urgent Care has 2 locations in Rapid City on Haynes Avenue and Mountain View Road. You can simply check in online at bhucare.com. That's with the letter U, bhucare.com. When you need care, see the team at Black Hills Urgent Care, the faster way to get better.
My reason why is community.
My reason why is leadership.
My reason why is to inspire others.
Why do thousands of teenagers here in South Dakota participate in high school sports and activities?
My reason why is friendship.
Their reasons are as diverse as the students themselves. But the one thing they all share is the opportunity to have fun and learn important life lessons. Lessons like supporting their community, learning how to be a leader, and building lifelong friendships.
My reason why is defying expectations.
Is there a grade school or middle school student in your family? Then encourage them to participate in a sport or activity when they go to high school.
My reason why is to make a change in the world.
This message presented by the NFHS and the South Dakota High School Activities Association.
KIMM Rapid City and K294BT Rapid City. This is the Black Hills Sports Station, 106.7 FM and 1150 AM. Fox Sports Rapid City.
And here's what you need to know.
Bulls and Bucks tonight from Milwaukee. 7:30 Eastern time tip. And Chicago's without Zach LaVine and Alex Caruso. Bucks with a win can close it out. Bulls trying to force that Game 6. Now, the other Game 5 tonight has the Nuggets facing the Warriors at 10 o'clock Eastern time. Warriors up 3-1. No Andre Iguodala tonight, though, for Golden State. Out because of a neck injury. It's believed that Steph Curry could make his return to the Warriors starting lineup as well. Day baseball, Dodgers have pulled even with the Diamondbacks. 1 apiece as they play in the bottom of the 8th inning. Trey Turner's RBI single scored Mookie Betts in the top half of the 8th inning. Cardinals beat the Mets today by a score of 10-5, while the White Sox were 7-3 winners against the Kansas City Royals. Champions League semifinals, first leg, Liverpool topped Villarreal by a score of 2-0. In the NFL, Texans GM Nick Caserio telling the NFL Network there's a 99% chance that they will keep the 3rd overall pick in the first round of the draft that takes place tomorrow in Las Vegas.
It's time for the only live and local sports talk show in the Black Hills. This is the Nate Brown Show, featuring live callers, live interviews, and local sports. Exclusively on 106.7 FM and 1150 AM, Fox Sports Rapid City. And streaming online right now at foxsportsrapidcity.com. From the biggest national names to the hottest local stories, welcome to the Nate Brown Show. Here's your host.
And a good Wednesday afternoon to you. We're back and ready. 2 hours thought-provoking sports talk. It's always a great day in the Black Hills. We know that. And the Nate Brown Show is live here on Fox Sports Rapid City, 106.7 FM, 1150 AM. Welcome in on the radio side. Let's have a good one today. 2 hours ready to go. Jam-packed guests. Great guests across the board. Former Green Bay Packer on the program. We got a new high school football coach here in town. New high school football coach taking over. We got him coming up. So a busy show, the Nate Brown Show. Also, you can watch it on Twitter at Nate Brown Show. Follow us there on Twitter and watch us at Nate Brown Show, 4 to 6 live weekdays. And YouTube, subscribe to the channel. You've got all the shows live there on your phone on YouTube, The Nate Brown Show. So you've got us, and we are brought to you in part by the Rehab Doctors, the non-operative experts in the Black Hills. When it comes to pain relief without surgery, you have a choice for your medical care. No referrals necessary. They want you to know that. The Rehab Doctors, board-certified specialists in physical medicine and rehabilitation for pain relief without surgery. Take the first step to feeling better. TheRehabDoctors.com. On the Wednesday show, let's look at it. We'll line it up and locked and loaded. Mike Wall's coming up. former Green Bay Packer offensive lineman. We're going to get into some interesting stuff, like he played in the league a long time, and we got the draft first round tomorrow night. And I want to know what, Mike, when you look in that locker room, what counts more in the NFL? Are we looking at talent, just pure raw talent? Are we looking at character? Are we looking at competitiveness? That stuff, the intangible stuff. I have an interesting thought. I want to have that discussion with Mike coming up, former Green Bay Packer. We'll talk Packers and more, NFL draft process to perform, his company now. Mike Wall's on the way from Texas. John Bryce is in, college football writer, footballscoop.com. Really good discussion I want to have with John coming up. Bill Foley is a Montana sports writer, and I hit on this yesterday. If you joined yesterday's show, we had an interesting discussion on high school coaches in Montana, a couple of football coaches getting let go by the school boards, not by the ADs or the principal or the superintendent. They recommended they come back. The school board said no. Bill Foley wrote a story on this. He's the Montana sports writer, Butte Sports, Butte, Montana. He's going to come on, share his thoughts on it straight ahead. Also, this is the new head coach in Rapid City, Matt Mcintosh, joining us live in his first interview here on the radio. Rapid City Christian head football coach. Matt Mcintosh has been an assistant the last couple of years for the Stevens program, and now he's going to be the head coach for the Comets. Third new coach in 3 years for Rapid City Christian. They had Ben Condit a few years ago, and when they were 9-man, then they jumped to 11-man, had a coach, Nathan Long, last year, and now they're going to go Matt Mcintosh as Long's not coming back. So head coach Matt Mcintosh is going to join us, talk Rapid City Christian and that opportunity with the Comets coming up. And by the way, one more draft analysis with Joe DeLeon, NFL draft prospects analyst, and he is joining us live, Joe DeLeon, before the draft hits us tomorrow night. All right, so we're packed on a Wednesday. Let's have some fun, some interesting discussion. 720-1067 is our number. If you don't know it, now you do. You can get in on the Boss Pizzeria and Sports Bar Sports Line live, 720-1067. And the Barron's Wilson text line, always ready, always open, 720-1067 on the Barron's Wilson text line, listener text. You can hit us there. All right, well, I got a lot of information here I'm going to get to right now. A lot of information, interesting information. So we've kind of been going through this big transition and big change in college sports, right? Massive. I say it's the biggest change since the scholarship came into play. The scholarship really changed lives and families and the whole thing back in the day. This is the big one now. And it's the name, image, likeness, and the freedom of players and the compensation of players and the whole thing. And it's all been going on only since July. It seems like it's been longer than that, but it's only been going on since July. And I mean, it is at lightning speed now. This change, that deal, this sponsorship, this guy going here and there and everywhere. And now we think there's big changes now with college sports, right? Name, image, likeness. We think there's big changes now. Well, I don't know if we've seen anything yet. I don't know if we've seen anything yet if you want to get into a new bill that is being introduced right now this week. Now, this is a new bill when it comes to college athletics, and this is looking at universities, public universities, and saying, okay, I know we have the name, image, and likeness, and some athletes can benefit from that. This bill says we want to look at the revenue-generating sports, and we want to break up money from the revenue-generating sports and keep it for those athletes in those sports, okay? I'm reading through this story. I'm reading through all the details, and I can't go through every line by line for you on the radio, but let me just tell you, that's what it's called, the College Athlete Gender Equity Act, okay? And so this is the premise. It's a bill that, by the way, got passed by a judiciary committee in California, 9-1, yes, yesterday. The judiciary. So it's in the committee process. And if you follow politics or you go through this whole thing, you go through a committee, another hearing here, then it might get to a vote. And so there's still a process here. But this is what the bill says, okay? This bill would say to the athletic departments at Cal and UCLA, San Diego State, okay, for example, okay, those California universities. This would tell them, here's how much money you make in football. Here's how much money you make in men's basketball. We're going to take half of that and we're going to set it aside for every athlete and break it up for every athlete in that sport. Okay? So how would this work out? Let's use an example. Cal. They had $39 million in football revenue a couple of years ago. $39 million in football revenue. You take out the scholarship value of that, so they take that off the top because the players already get the scholarship value. That would be they would leave you $16 million in a fund to be split among the players. Are we following? So $16 million. This is because football generates dollars at Cal, at UCLA, at San Diego State, wherever you want to go. The big sports, we know this in college sports, is football and men's basketball. Some schools, women's basketball generates, at some schools, generates revenue. So now the legislature's looking at this, and a sponsor of the bill said, okay, we have name, image, and likeness, and some athletes are benefiting from that in big ways. He said, but not enough athletes are benefiting from it. We need to go to the revenue-generating sports, and instead of the college, so to speak, keeping the money, we're going to have them set aside half of it in a fund, and then each player can have access to that, especially then as they move through college. They call it degree completion funds. So if you complete your degree at Cal, then each athlete there on the football team, for example, would get $186,000. You assume 85 are on scholarship, okay? They'd get $186,000. So we think there's been, massive changes and a lot of money going here and there. And now I get into a new situation here where I guess what they're telling us is we haven't seen enough change. I guess they're telling us we haven't seen enough money being spread out. And what I'm going to tell you, on the surface of this situation here, this new bill, it's in Judiciary Committee and trying to figure out, would this work? Would this help? The Equity Act, this is better and more equal for all of the athletes. I'm going to tell you on the surface, this doesn't seem like it's going to work. This doesn't seem like it's going to work. Let me just point out a little thing here. I don't know every university's athletic budget, okay? I'm not running through all this. But let me just tell you, football makes money, men's basketball makes money. They have that money, and then that goes to a lot of the Olympic sports. To have that many Olympic sports at UCLA, at Cal, at wherever. Because there's many, many sports. We all know this if you followed college sports. Many, many sports don't make any money at all. It just costs money. So the university model is football and basketball pay for all the other athletic opportunities at these universities. And now they're thinking about, I guess, trimming off the top there. You tell me if there's going to be enough money to go around. I don't know about that one. Thanks for calling. You're live, and you go ahead.
Only to be 25, 30 years younger so I could enjoy this more. Taking my wallet every Friday and just handing it to my local university. Now, Nate, you said something about the players should get the profit, subtract the scholarship money.
That's what they're going to do. No, I didn't say they should. That's what this bill wants to do.
See, this is what I don't understand is how does the university make money on that then?
I don't think they really would. That's the thing. I mean, football and basketball make money, but if we're going to trim off money, I don't know if there's going to be enough money. That's my thought here.
See, here's my thought too, and I know I'm going to upset the little ones, but Why would I, if I had the worst golf team in the world, my God, you'd be playing a 9-hole course in town. I wouldn't put you in a country club. You shouldn't get any money. You see what I'm saying? If you compete for our university and you actually compete, we'll trip you something. But why do I have to give it to every kid?
No, I see what you're saying. I do, actually, because if I'm the third string guy on the football team, I'm getting the same amount in this bill than the first string guy. I don't know about that one. I already have the same scholarship, by the way, but now I'm going to get the same money, I guess.
Any third string, you shouldn't get any money.
Well, that's the argument,
your
right?
Mom and Dad sending you a little credit card, prepaid once a month.
I know what
Here you go, Jimmy.
I know what you're saying. They're saying, well, everybody should get it. If you're on the team, you should get it. And I don't know about that one. I don't know about that one.
I'm not for it, Nate.
All right, buddy. I agree with you, actually. Hey, how about that?
Hey, enjoy this evening. It's pretty nice out.
It is. Enjoy it. Thanks, buddy.
All right,
Appreciate
buddy.
it. Thanks for getting in. I think it's okay to say that, right? Is the third string player as valuable as the first string player, so to speak? Some people say, well, their thought is right here. Their heart's in the right place in this new bill in college sports, and we want them to complete their degrees and then they'll get their $186,000. That was just an example. If you broke up the Cal football team, every player would have access to $186,000 when they graduate. So that's the ultimate goal. I don't see how the numbers, the model within the college sports model work. I don't see how that works for the other Olympic sports to do really, really well. Thanks for calling. You're live, and you go ahead.
Hey, Nate. Hey, I was calling. Well, what about the taxpayer that puts all the money into building these stadiums, hundreds of millions of dollars, and that's how they're generating a lot of revenue? I think that money should probably go back to the taxpayers.
Yeah, that's another side of it, right? That's another side of it. Thanks.
Hey,
I appreciate
and I gotta
it.
run.
Okay, thanks for getting in. Think about that. Listener text coming in. The Supreme Court has already clarified you cannot put a cap on individual athletes. This is communism under the guise of equality. Well, hang on a second. So I know what you're saying here. Yes, you cannot put a cap on individual athletes, and I'm good with that. I want to clarify. I've always been a proponent here. It's getting a little wild. The name, image, and likeness, it's getting wild. But I've been a proponent. If I'm a YouTuber at a college, I'm just a normal student, and I'm a YouTuber, and I'm a doofus, and I have all these followers, I can make money off of my YouTube channel. But we always put the athletes in a different category in the past. Oh, you're a quarterback at a college, and you can't make money off of a camp and running an autograph session or whatever it may be. And I felt that was wrong. So now we flipped it. Name, image, and likeness helps. Yet, this new bill says, well, they're not capping it. They're just saying everybody can get the same under this new plan on top of the name, image, and likeness. Basically, what they're telling us today is this bill, it went through committee there at the legislature. This is the California State Senate Education Committee. Went through it, and they said 9-1. It's still a ways from getting passed. They're saying, well, you can have your name, image, and likeness and do that too, but for the sports that make money, it's only fair to compensate everybody as well, because some of the kids just don't benefit from name, image, and likeness. And that's where I say, just let's pump the brakes. If you're able to get a scholarship, you're the third stringer on the Cal football team and you got a scholarship there, I think you're in good shape. I don't think I'm contributing to the overall health of necessarily, wow, I should make $186,000 because we're going to peel off from the football revenue. And then I get that when this is where it's, you peel off from one category. What they're not going to understand, in my opinion with this, you peel off from one category, then how many other sports are going to get hit? Meaning, are we going to have, let's see, cross country? Let's see, what are we going to have? this Olympic sport, that Olympic sport, just go through the list. Because the funds in the university model, what I mean, it comes in, the money's made through football and basketball, the athletic budget is set accordingly, and that's how it goes. And now we're going to peel off, they say in this bill, up to half of the annual revenue generated by football and basketball. Listener text, it's an effective cap that would ultimately limit the top athletes' pay. Well, in this model, but they'll keep name, image, and likeness. That's the difference. So if I'm the quarterback, I have a name, image, and likeness deal, or 5 of them, and I get to share in this revenue sharing. So really, they're just trying to give, they say more money to the student athletes, but here's my issue. It's just more money to the revenue-generating sports, which is only 2 in the university model for the most part. You can run through the budgets. Football, basketball, men's basketball make all the money. Women's basketball at some universities does make money as well. So there's 2 sports that make money, max 3 usually. You could find a baseball here or there, maybe, I'm not sure. Some of the big SEC programs, maybe Pac-12. But there's not very many sports along the way that make money. This is only focusing on those sports. And you know what's going to happen here? You know what's going to happen? Not only are the other sports, the Olympic sports, going to be, well, our budget got cut. Why? Well, they had to take, we used to get about $350,000 from the football tickets. Yeah, they kind of put this into this fund for those football players. This one, to me, doesn't make sense. It came out today. This is a real bill. It went through committee yesterday, 9-1 vote. Going to go through another education committee now today, it looks like. It's going to go through today. This one doesn't, they say, well, it's just going to be better for everybody. No, it's not. You know what's going to hit here? You know what's going to hit? Okay? The Title IX. We all know this. Do we know Title IX? Do you know what Title? That is a 1972 federal law. Okay? 1972 federal law. What does it require? Equal and fair treatment for women's sports. Now, that's pretty open-ended there. Pretty open-ended. Equal and fair treatment for women's sports. So what are you telling me here? You're trying to tell me that there's not going to be any Title IX issues with, hey, we're going to give all this money to the men's basketball team and the football team. Well, I'm a female athlete. I'm a softball player. I'm going to be on the horn quickly and saying, hey, hang on a second. The football team gets this $186,000 each when they graduate. The men's basketball team gets $200,000 each when they graduate. What does the softball team get? Well, you get to play. You get a scholarship and you get to play. This is something where they're trying to make it, well, let's get more money to the athletes. To me, it falls flat. I don't think this is going to work. I could be wrong. We'll keep an eye on it. Senate Bill 1401, College Athlete Gender Equity Act. It's an interesting name, isn't it? So that's what they say is, well, on average, this is going to put money into it, and they tie it to completing your degree. So it's, well, we want kids to graduate. I get it. All that's good. That stuff's fine. You're not going to be able to just give money to football and basketball players? Are you crazy? Listener text, you're forgetting that this is coming from California. They look down upon football as the cash cow for the universities, and they want to penalize that moneymaker. Well, they're giving money to the players, though, right? They're giving money to the players. I don't think you can give money to players if you're not giving money to everybody. I've always said that through this whole name, image, and likeness thing. Everyone's like, well, just give money to everybody, right? Treat them as employees. You got to treat them as employees. Money to everybody. Okay, so the swimmer is going to make the same amount as the star quarterback. Oh, okay. Good luck with that. Thanks for calling. You're live, and you go ahead.
In your calculation there, the only thing you took out was scholarships to the athletes that are already, in
Correct.
essence, getting some value.
Correct.
And you said it was $39 million. You were actually looking at Cal's or UCLA?
Cal's. Yep.
Cal's. Okay. That's where Aaron Rodgers went, so it's a big program. Would you be okay with it if every athlete shared in it? Instead of $186,000 with degree completion.
Yep.
Yeah, and I was always thinking what they would do, say take that $186,000 and figure about $9,000 a year walking around money, we'll call it, in your pocket money, so that you can, not need to have a job because you're practicing football 20 hours a week.
Yep.
And then $150,000 at the end if you complete your degree.
And so you're saying that's going to break that up a little bit more if you give it to everybody. The swimmer, the cross-country runner, the whole thing.
Yep, everybody. And of course, I'm guessing if the way they're writing this here, you couldn't do it unequally. But the thing is, everybody's just jumping on that they're capping this. This is communism. No, what this is doing is, instead of, if we roll back to the days of Aaron Rodgers being at Cal, he would have got $186,000 from this, or in those dollars,
and
then he would have got image, and likeness. If it was around then, he'd have got $3 million a year, somewhere in that neighborhood.
Well, you listen. I tend to side more with, I'm the individual. This is what I can do. If whether I'm a YouTuber, a ding dong social media influencer, and they're making more money than me, okay, that's that individual. I tend to go that route. I'm the quarterback. I have these deals. Rather than I'm the third string center and I should get something too. I'd rather.
But you're also the guy that looks at the locker room and says, "Wait a second, we got 90 guys in this locker room, and shouldn't they all get something? A little, at least not have to worry about not having any money in their pocket walking around on the campus."
Yeah, and I will say this. A lot of universities have done that. They've done the cost of attendance. It's really a true cost of attendance. So they've started floating them money per month. It's not massive, but they've started floating them money per month so they can at least go to, Pizza Ranch and enjoy some dinner outside of the cafeteria. So they've started it. I don't know if you could do it for everybody, frankly, and that's what I was going to tell you. I don't know if you could do it for everybody and keep all the sports that you have. That's my concern.
One other quick thing: when people, the third string offensive guard, can you have a winning program if you only have two and one gets hurt? Isn't that the point of having three?
No, I mean everybody's a part of the team. Everybody's a part of the team, but I don't know if I need to share in a part of the revenue generated from TV and the whole thing. I don't know about that one.
I tell you, it's really interesting, but I always did think this turn would get taken, that at some point it's going to have to be dollars from the actual institution that makes the money going to the people who generate the revenue.
And that's what this is saying today.
At least something of it, yep.
Appreciate it, man. Thanks for getting in. That's the next step, and that's how I started the show today. I was looking at this afternoon saying, we think name, image, and likeness has gotten wild and all this money, and what are the universities going to do? They don't have control over this. And now, boom, here's another political bill. Hey, universities, we're actually going to have money come from you guys. What? Hang on a second. Whoa. And by the way, careful. I just say this, careful. A lot of sports at Cal, a lot of sports at San Diego State, okay? Some of these places, I don't know if you're going to be able to have enough money to have all the sports and the whole deal. It sounds really easy to say, well, the ADs make way too much and it's all this stuff. Everybody makes way too much. Until you get down in the middle of it here, the financial model at universities and athletic departments, at a lot of them, I'm not talking Texas, not necessarily talking USC, okay, some of these heavy hitters, but the financial model at a lot of them, fragile. Year by year. You know about living paycheck to paycheck, all of us? This year by year, man. And it's fragile. And now we're going to take from here, take from there, and give to here. And careful. Joe DeLeon's on the way next as we continue on a Wednesday. NFL Draft Prospects, that's his podcast. Who does he say is going to be the best in the class tomorrow night? Joe DeLeon next.
Your sports, your show. This is the Nate Brown Show on 106.7 FM and 1150 AM, Fox Sports Rapid City.
There are times in life when you just have to say, this is a no-brainer, and we are doing it. And right now is one of those times. Renewal by Andersen makes the best windows you can get. They have more 5-star customer reviews than anyone in the industry. And right now you can get Renewal by Andersen windows with no money down, no interest, no payments for a full year with approved credit. A full year. Book your free estimate right now at RBARapidCity.com. Renewal by Andersen. This is one of those times in life. It's a no-brainer. We're doing it.
Come.
Here's your Fox Sports Rapid City forecast. A winter storm watch begins at 6 p.m. Friday night and continues until 6 p.m. Saturday night. Mainly cloudy skies expected tonight with a slight chance for scattered showers. Lows dip down to about 38. Winds out of the southeast 8 to 15 miles per hour. Highs around 65 tomorrow. Scattered thunderstorms likely tomorrow night 45 overcast. That's your forecast on the Black Hills Sports Station, Fox Sports Rapid City. Currently, it's 51.
Hey, Rapid City, you've heard me talk about 454. Have you been there yet? If you're looking for the best place to have a cold one, they have the best selection by far. 454 downtown with 54 taps of beer from local and regional breweries. Bingo night on Tuesdays, a great sports area upstairs, and they bring in live music. 454 has something for everybody, and the food is unbelievable. There's no place like it in the region, and we have it right here in Rapid City. 454 downtown Main Street.
I'm with Brian from Anytime Auto Sales Service and Detail. You've added another new product to your arsenal.
The Braxton Creek Bushwhackers are back in stock, and it's been a long wait, so hurry in before they're gone again.
I tell you, these little rascals got so many options for their size, it's unreal.
Amazing little units, complete with kitchen, sink, cooktop, cooler, memory foam mattress, even a built-in furnace and air conditioning system.
It really is incredible, all the amenities these teardrops have, folks. To have their own heating and cooling system in a unit this size, you gotta be kidding. Unbelievable.
Totally self-contained off-road suspension campers with their own battery power and propane tank, and they're solar ready too. They even have a built-in stereo and come pre-wired for TV. With over 2 million acres just minutes away, it's time for adventure junkies to head for the hills.
Hey, there's no better way to disappear for a while in one of these little campers, people. You just gotta see these Bushwhacker teardrops. Now at Anytime Auto Sales. See anytime.com, and as always at the corner of Highway 79 in East Minnesota.
Anytime Auto Sales.
Hi, it's Colin Cowherd. Great to be in the Black Hills. Get in the herd weekdays 10 to 1 on 106.7 FM and 1150 AM. Fox Sports.
Well, out of the gate on a Wednesday on the Nate Brown Show live, Fox Sports Rapid City. Glad you're here as always. The best lineup, no doubt. Dan Patrick, Colin Cowherd, Doug Gottlieb, and of course, South Dakota Sports Talk Show weekdays 4 to 6. We're in it. The Nate Brown Show live. Thanks for being a part of the program. Mike Wall's coming up, former Packer offensive lineman. Green Bay Packers, Mike Wall, straight ahead. John Bryce is coming up, national college football writer, Football Scoop. He is on tap. Well, the draft's here tomorrow night, man, 24 hours away. Las Vegas, first round. Joe DeLeon covers the draft. His podcast, NFL Draft Prospects. NFL Draft Prospects on the Believe Podcast Network. Joe DeLeon, former college athlete as well. And he joins us here on the Nate Brown Show. Joe, good to talk to you. How are you?
I'm doing great. We're finally here. It's been a really long cycle, and this week has been pretty hectic. But I'm just excited to see where some of these guys end up getting drafted.
I like it. By the way, you were a long snapper, a college long snapper. I'm looking at your profile. I'm a college long snapper. Should Joe DeLeon should you have had like a name, image, and likeness deal as the long snapper? I mean, you should have had a deal back in the day.
Yeah, I wasn't too far off too. Me and my roommate Sean Anderson, who I do the FCS football podcast with, we were doing the show when we were still in college, and that was 3 years ago. We just missed the NIL stuff right when it started to heat up.
I was wondering. All right, you just missed the window. I don't know what type of sponsorship you would have got, but you should have gotten something. Let me get into this NFL draft here. A lot of people are saying, okay, this draft kind of weird. I've heard draft analysts tell me kind of weird, exciting, but kind of weird. We don't have like massive names because a quarterback class usually leads that way. And so I'll say, how many quarterbacks do you think are going to go first round, Joe? How many QBs when it's all said and done? People say, it's not a great class. I don't think a lot of these guys are going to go. And then all of a sudden, guys still end up flying off the board sometimes. What do you say about first round tomorrow night, QBs?
The number I've settled on is 3 right now. I believe that Malik Willis is a guarantee at this point. Someone is going to trade up to go get him, someone that has maybe a more settled situation to develop him. Malik Willis has done so much during this draft process to improve his draft stock, so him being that first guy makes a ton of sense. Kenny Pickett, too, hasn't really done anything to hurt himself. He's just not as high ceiling as Willis or a guy like Carson Strong, but still a steady prospect for a team that's going to pull the trigger, that thinks that they can plug him in immediately and thinks that he can start right now. But that third guy is the debate that I think a lot of people are having right now. Is it Desmond Ridder from Cincinnati? Is it Sam Howell from North Carolina? I think whoever it is, someone's going to trade back into the back end of the first round and draft one of these guys with a hope that maybe they can stash them on the roster for a little bit and then get that fifth-year option on their contract that they can only do if they draft him in the first round. So for me, 3 guys, there's a possibility of maybe a fourth if one guy goes and then another team likes the idea and maybe doesn't want to miss out on whoever their guy was. But 3 to 4 makes the most sense for me.
Okay, so the stats over the years, Joe, is okay, even if you take a QB in the first round and a high-profile one, a lot of them don't work out, and I mean a lot of them. So now in a class where people are kind of wondering, there's developmental guys in here, how many quarterbacks do you believe are NFL QBs? Are you in on Malik Willis? Are you in on Pickett? Who are you in on?
I'm in on Malik Willis, certainly. He is very far away, though, from stepping onto the field and being a starting quarterback. He is going to take some time. I kind of compare his progression arc to Jordan Love, who came from also another small program in Utah State. And we see after a couple of years, he's still not fully ready, and he still hasn't gotten to his full potential. But he's got a big arm. He's a great athlete. Malik Willis, the same thing. I think Carson Strong has shades of it. He hurt himself a little bit throughout this process. Apparently didn't do so great during a lot of these interviews and did okay at the Senior Bowl. But I really just don't have a lot of faith in Kenny Pickett or Desmond Ridder. I understand the allure for some of these guys and why some teams might decide that that's where they want to go. They've started for a long time, for multiple seasons, winning a lot of games in college football. They're the furthest along in the draft class, but just because they're the furthest along doesn't mean that they're necessarily going to be the best pro prospects. Their ceilings are significantly lower than the other guys in this class. But to me, I think the big ones are Carson Strong, Malik Willis, and then Sam Howell kind of falls somewhere in there a little bit in between.
How far does Carson Strong fall? Where does he go?
I don't think he makes it past day 2. Just because that we have so few good quarterbacks in this class, and we don't have any talent really at that position. Guys are going to get overdrafted in the first round, so someone like Carson Strong, even if he does poorly in these interviews and teams aren't really vibing with his personality and they don't think that he's got that it factor mentally for being a quarterback at the next level, he's still going to get drafted higher than he would in a normal year. So somewhere on day 2, I think, is a realistic projection for Carson Strong.
Joe DeLeon talking NFL draft, first round tomorrow night in Vegas. He's on the Believe Podcast Network, the show, NFL Draft Prospects. People say, unpredictable night tomorrow night. Unpredictable. The draft can be a little unpredictable at times. Is it one of those years where we just kind of don't know? Even do we know who's going to go number 1? Is it Walker out of Georgia, or that's what Vegas is telling us? Is it unpredictable tomorrow night?
I think it's going to be pretty unpredictable. Vegas keeps pushing that it's Trayvon Walker from Georgia. I think it's going to be Aiden Hutchinson, and that the Walker movement was a smokescreen and an effort maybe by the Jaguars to bait a team that likes Walker to trade up. They made it pretty clear that they wanted to trade out of that first overall pick, and no one's really going to be a taker unless you have a reason to incentivize them to move up. But I think overall, the whole top 10 could go in a million different directions, which doesn't usually happen. We usually have a sense of what teams are going to take quarterbacks where they're going to take them, which guys are going to go in the top 5 or in the top 10 range. And I think you can name like 20 different guys that make sense in the top 10. There's probably going to be a surprise name in there that nobody was expecting just because of the depth of this class, the quality of this class, but the lack of overall like elite top-tier stars sitting at the top like we usually have.
I'll look at this. They say this year you're going to have a lot of wide receivers, and there's a lot to choose from. There could be some great ones. We never really know, but they say good wide receiver class. I say, is wide receiver the second most important position now on an NFL roster? Quarterback's one. Wide receiver is game breaker stuff now. They can change a game in a heartbeat. Is it priority number 2?
I certainly think that it's really important, but the big thing here with receivers, a team that can get a receiver on a rookie contract for as long as possible and get them to play at a high level as long as possible, I think is the most important aspect of this. We see oftentimes the minute that they offer a big money to a receiver, it doesn't always, not that it doesn't always pay out, but it really hamstrings your contract, or your cap space rather. There are teams that we've seen in the past, like the Saints when they paid Michael Thomas, the Falcons when they paid Julio. When you're paying these guys close to quarterback money, then you can't pay secondary receiving options. It's tough to also be able to afford a good offensive line. Stuff like that for receivers is really, really tricky. But getting young guys that can step in right away, that can make a high impact and mesh with the current group, I would agree that is super, super important, just as it's important to have a young quarterback that's not on a huge contract that you can spread that money elsewhere.
Okay, if Aiden Hutchinson's the real deal, Michigan edge rusher, if he's going to go number 1, does he end up being the best pro? Grab somebody, Joe, and tell us, I think this guy's going to be the best pro. You know, I think over the years we're like, Matt Leinart was going to be great, and then he wasn't. Percy Harvin, game breaker, wide receiver, didn't work out. Who's the guy that will work out?
I believe that guy is Kyle Hamilton from Notre Dame. Right now he's sliding a little bit because of just the fact that he's a safety. Teams are always, and the media is always going to push down a safety for whatever silly reason, but we're not going to acknowledge the fact that Kyle Hamilton is more than a safety. He's 6'4", he's 225 pounds. He has the athleticism and game speed to cover from sideline to sideline like a free safety. He has the size and the tackling ability to play in the box like a strong safety. You can move him all over the place, and I think a creative defensive coordinator is going to scare the heck out of opposing offenses by moving him around and getting very, very creative with his usage. So for me, Kyle Hamilton, I think he's going to have an impact the way that Micah Parsons did last year, where he stumbles a little bit because he's a tweener. Is he an edge? Is he a linebacker? Cowboys snag him up on a team that had a decent defense, and we saw how that panned out for the Cowboys. I really firmly believe that Kyle Hamilton is the next version of Parsons this year in this class, not in terms of play style, obviously, but in terms of impact. He's going to step in, start right away. A lot of people are going to be talking about him as a defensive rookie of the year candidate.
Interesting. Kyle Hamilton, Notre Dame safety. Is that a Derwin James type player?
I think he's more unique than Derwin James. Derwin James was fantastic, but it's hard to find a strong comparison for Kyle Hamilton, because when was the last time we had a 6'4", 220-pound safety that can play as a free safety? He has that type of coverage range that he can do all that stuff. So I wouldn't put him in a box by saying he's Derwin James. I think he's capable of being more than that.
Yeah, might be more athletic, bigger than James.
Yeah.
Joe DeLeon, NFL Draft Prospects Podcast. That's the pod, Believe Podcast Network. Night 1 tomorrow, first round. Find him on Twitter. Follow him there at Joe DeLeon. Joe, always good, man. I appreciate you coming on.
Of course. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for the time. Joe DeLeon, NFL Draft Prospects Podcast on the Believe Podcast Network. NFL Draft Prospects. You can get plugged in on that. That's interesting. His number 1 guy, the best NFL player going tomorrow night, will be Kyle Hamilton, Notre Dame safety. Interesting. Speaking of Notre Dame, well, their athletic director made a big statement this week. And this ties into how we started today's show. If you're just joining us, we'll circle back here a little bit. The Notre Dame athletic director said there's going to be a break-off here in college sports. Some of the universities are still going to do the university model, educational-based college sports. Some of the universities are going to go, we're out. You guys can use the brand. This is a development NFL league now. Is that right? John Bryce covers Notre Dame and more. College football writer, Football Scoop on the way.
You're listening to the only live and local sports talk show in the Black Hills. The Nate Brown Show on Fox Sports RapidCity.com and live on 106.7 FM and 1150 AM Fox Sports Rapid City.
Honda True. Discover 3 tiers of vehicle coverage that work for you. Only at Denny Menholt Rushmore Honda. The inspection is just the beginning. Honda certified pre-owned means peace of mind with incredible benefits like 7-year, 100,000-mile powertrain coverage, up to 2 complimentary oil changes, 24/7 roadside assistance, inspection report, and 3-day exchange option. Check out all the benefits and search inventory at honda-true.com or come by Denny Menholt Rushmore Honda in Rapid City.
From the minute you wake up to the moment you fall asleep, Black Hills Energy is here to support, inspire, and drive your next adventure. Because supporting your day-to-day is our everyday. And we are always here, ready for your next step. Black Hills Energy, ready.
Tin Lizzie BetMGM Sportsbook is your home for the best sports betting experience in Deadwood. With great food, great service, and brand new 4K TVs, there's not a bad seat in the house. And every game is on at Tin Lizzie, where you can bet on Major League Baseball, the NBA, the NHL, and UFC. BetMGM Sportsbook at Tin Lizzie, the king of sportsbooks. What game are you betting on? Make your play at Tin Lizzie, Main Street, Deadwood.
Hot dogs, get your hot dogs.
Baseball and hot dogs, they go together like front porches and rocking chairs. And with Village Hearth Buns, you don't have to go to your local ballpark to enjoy a really good hot dog. Just grill up a package of quality Franks and serve with your favorite toppings on a Village Hearth bun. They're the same delicious buns served at baseball stadiums throughout the Midwest. Village Hearth Buns, baking our best for you.
Get away from it all in the great outdoors for lasting family memories with a new or pre-owned RV from Dakota Discount RV. We make your RV experience fun and easy by providing you with a quality recreational vehicle, competitive pricing, and professional sales and service. Our large inventory of fifth-wheelers, travel trailers, toy haulers, and live-in horse trailers allows us to save our customers thousands of dollars compared to most dealers. Stop by and see us at Dakota Discount RV, 3330 East Mall Drive across from Cabela's and on JB Road, Blackhawk.
Hi, this is Dan Patrick. Remember to catch me weekday mornings from 7 until 10 a.m. right here on 106.7 FM and 1150 a.m. Fox Sports Rapid City. And now, back to Rapid City's sports talk show, The Nate Brown.
Welcome back in the Nate Brown Show. We are live, Fox Sports Rapid City. How's your Wednesday? Hopefully solid, right? Let's hit it right between the running lights, all right? Hit it. We're trying to do that here. Mike Wall coming up, former Green Bay Packer. Talk to Mike Wall about the Packers, and mainly I want to get into this. Is there a big difference between a guy with talent and a guy in the locker room with the intangibles? Character, leadership, competitiveness. I mean, Mike's been in locker rooms of the NFL, and I want to know, a draft night, what do we value more? You got to have the talent, right? It's the best of the best. I get it. Can you tell the difference between the guys that compete and the guys that don't when they're bringing in dollars? We'll get into it. Mike Wall, he thinks about the athlete mindset a lot. Process to Perform, his company, former Green Bay Packer, coming up. John Bryce is in right now, college football writer, footballscoop.com. Well, I want to discuss a lot of things. John, I appreciate you coming on as always. How are you?
I'm good, Nate. Actually, as you know, I live in South Bend, but I'm back home in East Tennessee visiting my
Mom and Dad for a couple of days. Tomorrow is my mom, Frances's 69th birthday, and so she had no idea I was coming in, and just surprised them after about an 8.5-hour drive last night. Knocked on their door. So
I love
I'm
it.
well, Nate.
I love it. That's good stuff. You got to visit the folks. I know that. Okay, let me ask you about this. And you just drove for 8.5 hours, so I got to get you plugged in on this. Name, image, and likeness has changed a lot, John, and it's going to change a lot more. Okay, it hasn't even been going on a year, and now we got a new bill, California Senate. And it's going to go even further. On top of name, image, and likeness, this new bill, and it hasn't passed, but it's in committee and the whole thing, this new bill says, well, now the revenue-generating sports, i.e. football, how much money you make each year, we're going to take half, and we're going to put it in a degree fund for every athlete in that sport. So then the second stringer or the third stringer, whoever you want to say, when they graduate, for example, at Cal, they would get about $186,000 that would be in this fund. This is taking university dollars now, revenue essentially that they bring in the athletic department, putting it in funds and giving it to more athletes that aren't benefiting from name, image, and likeness. I don't think it works, but what's your reaction to it, and what do you think the next steps will be?
Yeah, I've read a little bit about that this afternoon, actually, Nate, and I agree with you. I don't think it works. It looks good on paper, which I guess a lot of people in California think some of those harebrained ideas do. But the fact of the matter is, football, they've not been hiding money from football players, and I say football because it's 90% of the revenue generators across college athletics. You can look at a Duke or Kentucky and extrapolate and change out football players for basketball players. They've not been hiding money or keeping money from these kids because they don't want them to have it, because they don't want to give them a launching pad when they finish their degrees and go out into the real world. They need all of that to fund all the Title IX sports. And so this law that is being proposed in California, while, yes, it seems like it's going to take care of the revenue-producing athletes, participants in those sports, what does it do for Title IX? How do they solve Title IX? And look, you have far more colleges than not across the country. Their athletics departments already are operating at deficits.
Yes.
You can look any given year. And it's very few. Alabama, Georgia, Ohio State, Texas, Michigan, Notre Dame, some of those that have a football program that operate in a surplus, sure, but then what does that mean for the rest of the athletics department? And again, it's just a handful of athletics departments that actually operate in the black. And now you want to take the single biggest thing, whether it's football at the majority of places or basketball at some others, and turn that into, yes, distributing that revenue because you feel like those players are earning it, and they absolutely on some level are. You're probably devaluing your education in the process if you say, yeah, this guy or this girl is getting a degree and we sell the Cal Berkeley degree, but also that's really not enough, so we're going to give them $200,000 when they graduate. What about the scientist who helps secure a federal grant for an important study, be it health, technology, whatever? Are you then going to give that undergraduate student a setup of some sort of funding when he or she graduates because they've helped get this federal grant for the university? And those grants, there are 6, 7, 8-figure grants that some of these schools are able to get. So where do you draw the line? Again, it sounds really neat on paper to have some people say, "Oh, we're sticking up for the student athletes. They're so underserved," and then we go even further and have to start once again talking about the tax ramifications. And again, I've joked with you before. My wife is a CPA by trade. I tell her to keep her resume sharp and send it to all the major college football programs in America, because the more NIL evolves, the more every program in America is going to need to beef up its tax and accounting department.
I said at the beginning of the show, I covered this. I said, I don't think it's feasible in the financial model for the athletic departments, many of them, as you kind of say there. I don't think it's feasible. And then a listener said, well, if you say, well, Title IX gets in the way, so you can't just give it to the football players, to the basketball players, that's going to be a Title IX problem. What about if you give it to everybody? And the thing is, John, I said, I don't have all the athletic budgets in front of me, but I'm saying breaking up this amount of money and spreading it out to more athletes doesn't make a difference as far as, well, do we still have enough money to have those sports in the first place? That's my concern, right?
That's a great concern, and literally, you know this because we said it before coming on the air. I was on the phone with a Division I college head football coach before you called, talking about a bunch of the subjects you and I are discussing right now, and this coach brought up what I anticipate being brought up again next week at the DFO conference that I'll attend in Houston, that was brought up at the American Football Coaches Conference in January in San Antonio. The more NIL evolves, the more proposals to distribute this money like this. What does it do for the capital campaigns? What does it do for the great facilities, arms races that we've seen throughout major college athletics? And a lot of it has gotten way out of hand with barbershop chairs and recording studios and indoor water slides and all this other stuff that a lot of these places have tried to keep up with one another and put in and be innovative. But I can tell you right now, I can promise you, I just hung up with a head football coach who has a very real concern about what it means simply for funding a football department, because now boosters are going to give money to NIL collectives. And then I can tell you point blank that other people I've spoken with in the last 2 weeks are worried about those same ramifications, all the way up to the top chairs, the senior athletics directors, the people who are in charge of these budgets and trying to make sense of all of this, are the ones that have no answers. They really do not have answers right now. I think that's why we saw not only that Mark Emmert stepping down atop the NCAA, but that it was said that it was a mutual agreement to part ways. And I think that was a clear sign that the NCAA knows it's facing a reckoning like never before, and some things have got to be figured out, and they need new leadership to do it.
John Bryce in tonight, footballscoop.com. Interesting bill in California. I don't know if all those other sports, the lacrosse, the water polo, the swimming, whatever, will be able to function and have athletes if money's being cut from the revenue sports and spread out. I don't know. I'm not a CPA like John's wife, but it doesn't seem like that would be a great model. So we'll see. Okay, this is my last one. Jack Swarbrick, Notre Dame AD, a power broker, no doubt. He alluded to, in about the next 10 to 15 years, college sports is going to have a different future here. You're going to have one set of universities that say, we want to operate in this traditional structure, education-based, and that whole thing. And another that's going to be totally different says, we're just going to use the brand. We're just going to use the brand. We're going to do that. Okay? This is what it feels like, John. This is what, like, universities are going to say, hey, if you're going to tell us what to do and spread this money out, we're just going to be out. And you can play as the Georgia Bulldogs, the brand, not the university. Do we buy it?
Yeah, we buy it. I mean, I swear, Nate, I think you and I talked this very subject last week, and I told you I call it the Super 70 or the Elite 80, but I 100% buy it. Here, I'll extrapolate it a bit further from my drive. I spoke with a high-ranking ACC assistant football coach during my travels, and he point-blank told me, he said, and this is direct quote, he goes, bro, I don't even know if we make it. I see what you're saying. Maybe it's 60 or 70 teams. He said, my fear is it's only going to be about 36 teams that are serious about football, that are basically going to have a college football format with a salary cap and all these other restraints, and it's going to be education optional, football driven entirely. So these are the conversations, Nate. I swear to you, it's not hyperbole. And I was so incredibly unsurprised at Mr. Swarbrick's comments, and I visited with him recently on just some different topics, broad-based, big-picture topics about the NCAA. I was completely unsurprised by it because I literally don't have a coach or an administrator or anybody that is kind enough to talk to me that isn't expressing those very concerns.
Yeah, it's interesting. So you and I have talked, and I guess the only surprise I had was, okay, I get there's going to be a break-off of 50, 60, 70 teams. I still thought it would be somehow college athletics. It feels like to me, well, we'll just use the brand of Alabama, the brand of Florida, not, this isn't an educational-based structure, and that would be semi-pro football, essentially, which could be happening. John Bryce is in, footballscoop.com. John, enjoy the time with your folks. I appreciate you coming on tonight.
I appreciate you, Nate. Always, buddy. Thanks a lot.
Thanks for the time. John Bryce, always great college football writer, footballscoop.com. Find him on Twitter at JohnDBryce1. Yeah, that's Jack Swarbrick, Notre Dame AD, said there's a lot of things that are going on in college sports. He said 10 to 15 years, he called it the mid-2030s. There's going to be a split. The real money, it's essentially semi-pro football development. I mean, you go here to go to the NFL. And then there's going to be a whole number of other schools. Well, you go here to get, the college football experience. I'm a college football fan. Just love college football. I hate the way that sounds. I just hate the way that looks and sounds. All right, Mike Wall, former Green Bay Packer, offensive lineman for the Pack. What's more important in an NFL player and locker room? Talent? Competitiveness? Leadership? Character? What's number one? Making the NFL player the real deal. Mike Wall on the way next.
From high school to college to the pros, this is the Nate Brown Show on 106.7 FM and 1150 AM Fox Sports Rapid City.
There are times in life when you just have to say, this is a no-brainer, and we are doing it. And right now is one of those times. Renewal by Andersen makes the best windows you can get. They have more 5-star customer reviews than anyone in the industry. And right now you can get Renewal by Andersen windows with no money down, no interest, no payments for a full year with approved credit. A full year. Book your free estimate right now at RBARapidCity.com. Renewal by Andersen. This is one of those times in life. It's a no-brainer. We're doing it.
Nothing compares to the giveaways at First Gold Gaming Resort. Our promo hot seat drawings every weekend pay out over $34,000. Saturday night's Lucky Sevens drawings award players with another $21,000 in cash. On April 30th, the Golden Cash Blast pays out another $12,000 in cash. Plus, First Gold has slot tournaments every Friday and Sunday totaling $16,000 in prize packages. All told, that's over $80,000 every single month at First Gold Gaming Resort. It's where Deadwood begins and the winning never ends.
Physical therapy, athletic training, and sports science all at one place. Physio in Rapid City. Dr. Dan Jensen and his team at Physio are ready to help you perform at your best. From the youth athlete to the active adult, trust the team at Physio. Physio offers the skilled, personalized approach to physical therapy and athletic training, building the best athletes in the Black Hills as the official strength and conditioning provider for Stevens, Central, and the Rapid City Rush. Learn more at bhphysio.com.
Broadcasting from the Anytime Auto Sales, Service, and Detail Studio. Sales, service, and side-by-sides. This is Fox Sports Rapid City.
Hey, welcome back on the show tonight. We had a lot of great guests here, including Mike Wall, former Green Bay Packer. Vikings fans still love Mike when he comes on the show. It's amazing. They just love him. I mean, they love it. It's okay. Former Packer offensive lineman, his company Process to Perform. He's got a podcast, Good Stuff with Amon Green and more. Find him on Twitter at MikeWall68. MikeWall68. Let's talk NFL draft a little bit here. Mike, thanks for coming on the Nate Brown Show. As always, how are you?
I'm doing great, Nate. Thanks for having me on.
Thanks for your time. So I wanted to get into a few different things. I've talked to a lot of draft guys and, who's going here and who's going there, who's going to be the best player. So we'll get into some of that. But I like your approach of, okay, the athlete mindset, what cuts, what sets people apart and the whole thing. So I got a couple of questions I've thrown out to my audience over the last couple of days, and I've said, what's people's perception of this? So I'm going to ask you, guys that get drafted tomorrow night, pretty big money deals, okay? Some of these are big money deals, and I know some of the second contracts are even bigger, but tomorrow's the life changer. How much does a big money contract impact the competitiveness and hard work of players? You've been there and done that. How do we know who's going to be that guy after they sign the deal?
So I would say that it affects everyone differently, Nate, and it's easy to think about it this way. There's some people in the world that aspire to be a really good high school player, I had a lot of teammates in college. I went to the Naval Academy that once they made it to college, they quit football. In other words, they just wanted to get in. Their goal was to get to college. Football was a vehicle. And then there's guys who want to be in the NFL. And then there's guys who want to be great. There's guys who want to be Hall of Famers. There's guys that want to be game changers. There's guys that want to, be first-team All-Pro. And if you do a good job as a personnel department, a scouting department, coaching, and a coaching staff with the interview process, you're probably going to have a good handle on who is who. But too many times we become enamored with the athleticism, the constraints, the physical constraints, the genetic constraints that these guys have. We get become too enamored with that, and we don't really think about the behaviors, right? The variables that are maybe most important in the success of an athlete.
Okay, so I'll ask you that. You said maybe most important. Yeah, some people think I'm crazy. I said the reason I loved Josh Allen years ago, and I'm a homer, I get it. My brother played at Wyoming, and I've had Josh on the show, and I know a lot of folks at Wyoming. So I was a homer, but all the things that I interacted with and the play and his teammates and that athletic department, the whole picture when Josh Allen was there was he's unbelievable character guy, unbelievable worker, great leader. And I said, that's why you take Josh Allen. And so I say that stuff matters a ton. Do teams get it right? How hard is it to know who is a guy like that tomorrow night?
I think some of the teams get it right. We've talked about it before. There's 26 teams out there that are always trying to struggle to figure it out, and there's 6 or 7 teams that consistently vie for championships. And there's a reason for that. And you look at Bill Belichick. Bill Belichick's the GM and the head coach. So the things that are important to a personnel guy, maybe the constraints and the constrained variables. I'm talking about your frame. I'm talking about your arm length, your hand size, and then to a certain extent, the things that you can control but have a genetic ceiling, your strength, your speed, your size. They get enamored with those things because they can pop off the screen, especially in college. And what a coach wants, there's kind of a baseline that every team has, right? For, a lineman has to be a certain height and weight. A receiver has to be a certain speed. Otherwise, they're not even going to look at him. But after you get past that, what a coach wants is they want the guy who's going to be a professional. They want the guy who's just desperate to be the best version of himself, that wants to be a game changer, that wants to have that kind of locker room impact, on-field impact that very, very few players actually have. So you kind of have two different pieces pulling at you, I think, on draft night, that of the personnel group and then that of the coaching staff. And then whoever wins out, those teams that are most in sync are the ones that are consistently vying for championships.
Mike Wall on tonight, Packers offensive lineman back in the day, process to perform. Find him on Twitter at MikeWall68. Take me back to the Packers locker room. That was a good man. You had some good teams there. What percentage of guys were ultra competitive? I'm talking those guys that still wanted to be the best. I mean, there had to be guys in there that were like, yeah, I've made it. I'll do what I can. I hope my film shows I'm okay. What percentage of guys were ultra competitors?
I think the majority of there's kind of buckets for players, right? You have your stars and you have your role players, and it doesn't necessarily go by position. It just depends on that locker room. But I remember when I came in, you want to talk about competitors: Leroy Butler, Reggie White, Santana Dotson, Gilbert Brown, Brett Favre, Mark Chmura, Frank Winters. I mean, we had guys, Dorsey Levens. We had guys, and they all thought that they were the best at their position. And they're walking around like they were the best. And so with that alone comes the responsibility to show up and do it every Sunday. And then how do you do that? Well, you're willing to put the preparation in to become, the best version of yourself. Not a lot of guys are willing to do that. So when they look themselves in the mirror, they come up a little bit short. But the guys that are willing to walk it and to talk it and go out every day and prepare to be the best, and those guys are going to have a lot of success. If you get a lot of those people in your locker room, you have something special.
How hard was it for you? Last one on this, then we'll get to the Packers a little bit tomorrow night. How hard was it for you? Hey, I signed a deal. I'm in pretty good shape. You had a nice career. Man, do I really want to do this? I'm a guard. I've got to grind. I've got to battle. How hard was it for you mindset-wise when, I'm doing pretty well for me and my family?
I love playing football. It was my only thing I ever wanted to do since I was 6 years old, Nate. So I was one of those guys who I didn't have a plan B. I was living my dream every single day. Even when things were bad, I was living my dream. Even when I got hurt, it was my dream. And so it really that consideration never happened. Now, when I got older and I was on my, second blown shoulder and I just realized you can't play, yeah, your perspective changes a little bit because you can't do what you love doing at the highest level anymore. But the money really never mattered to me. That's just a kind of way you're measuring how people respect you, right? That's how players think of it. It wasn't ever an end-all, be-all. It wasn't the way to define myself. I define myself by how much effort I put into being the best version of me on the football field.
Good stuff tonight. Mike Wall on ProcessToPerform.com. His podcast really good. Let's go to it. So, Packers, you want to see what they're going to do here. What do you have a feeling the Packers need to do, Mike? What's the story in the draft early on?
Everyone's talking about wide receiver, and obviously that makes a lot of sense as a need. I think it's the problem for me arises when does Aaron Rodgers really want to have young receivers in the locker room that we really are counting on? Because there's just the level of detail that you have to play out in an Aaron Rodgers offense, not a Matt LaFleur offense, an Aaron Rodgers offense is it's advanced. And so you probably want veterans in there. That's why they go and get a Sammy Watkins, Randall Cobb's back. Obviously, Lazard's been in there for a couple of years now. You could definitely see them taking one of those guys. Traylon Burks is one of the guys I thought because he's kind of a dual threat player, 6'3", 225, runs a 4.4, but can take the top off and also can play in the backfield. I really see them getting a second edge rusher, or actually a third edge rusher, but a second string edge rusher in one of the top rounds. There's 5 good players before a drop off that you could all go first round. And then you look at interior offensive line. There's a couple guys, Zion, the kid out of Boston College, and then there's also a kid, his name is, I can't remember, Jalen White, maybe out of Texas A&M. I watched his tape, and I don't watch a ton of tape, to be honest with you, on these guys before the draft, but I watched his tape. I really like the way he moves. He's got great balance. He's good size, good athleticism, so he could be a good addition as well.
I knew you had to throw in an offensive lineman there a little bit, a couple of guys. I knew that.
You know me too well.
I knew that. Mike Wall on tonight, former Packers O-lineman, Process to Perform. Find him on Twitter at MikeWall68. Thanks for the time, Mike. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Appreciate it. Good stuff. I love discussing the athlete mindset. He's got a good podcast I enjoy following at ProcessToPerform.com, his site. His podcast up there on Twitter as well, at MikeWall68. Really interesting to me. That's the difference, right? That's the difference. Can you tell if a pro athlete is more competitive than another? That's a question I have. I threw it out to the audience today. So you answer that for me, because that's what we're kind of trying to find out tomorrow. You need the talent, you need the 40, the broad jump, the all this stuff, right? You got to have the real deal physical talent, IQ, that whole thing. You need to have the competitive fire that's going to be fueling you to be the real franchise player. Because I believe guys will get money, and I believe it impacts them big time. Big time. So the deal is, in the NFL draft, anything, tomorrow night, you're trying to find that guy that wants to get better, compete, and just has the fire. And I've had people tell me this, Nate, they're pro athletes. They all have the fire. They wouldn't have made it this far. I understand. They have the fire to make it this far. Do they have the fire to make it on a big money contract? Because they've now lived their dream. Mike Wall said, I was living the dream while I was playing. That's all I wanted to do. That's the type of guy. Can you tell if a pro athlete is more competitive than another? That's my question. Do you think you can tell if a pro athlete is more competitive than another? Yes, guys will show it to you, or no, we really have no clue. I mean, when you're watching film, when you're watching stuff, can you tell if they're more competitive than another? In my opinion, you got to talk to the team, you got to talk to the coach, you got to talk to the teammates. It's, I believe you can tell. I'm sorry to tell you, I don't think Kyrie Irving is as competitive as Steph Curry, for example, right? I don't think so. I don't think so. Oh, come on. Yeah, of course he is. Ice cold take. Ice cold take Nate. That's what they call me. I don't think so. Okay. 63% say, yes, you can tell if a pro athlete's more competitive than another. 63% of you say, yes, you can tell. 37% say, you have no clue. You have no clue. All right. I'm going to get into the drive at 5 with this question. Okay? High schools are doing something different. They're asking players some of the high schools are asking players to what? Do this at the end of a season. This hasn't happened before. They're starting to do it now. High schools say, we want to know about your experience, so we want high school athletes to do this at the end of a season. Do we agree? Is this a good plan? Next.
This is the Nate Brown Show.
Do you have home renovation plans? With home values rising, let your home's increasing equity help put them into motion. Through April 30th, complete your projects more affordably with Black Hills Federal Credit Union's Home Equity Special. Get ready for outdoor barbecues, an updated kitchen, or finished basement. Learn more at bhfcu.com or text or call 605-718-1818. BHFCU is a member-owned, not-for-profit, equal housing lender.
There are times in life when you just have to say, this is a no-brainer, and we are doing it. And right now is one of those times. Renewal by Andersen makes the best windows you can get. They have more 5-star customer reviews than anyone in the industry. And right now you can get Renewal by Andersen windows with no money down, no interest, no payments for a full year with approved credit. A full year. Book your free estimate right now at rbarapidcity.com. Renewal by Andersen. This is one of those times in life. It's a no-brainer. We're doing it.
IMM Rapid City and K294BT Rapid City. This is the Black Hills Sports Station, 106.7 FM and 1150 AM. Fox Sports Rapid City.
In the past, if you needed auto body repair, you had to get multiple estimates and then try to get your car into a shop for repair. Well, not anymore. In most cases, you can stop by one shop, get your estimate, and schedule your car for a repair. The question now becomes which shop you choose. If you like quality, choose J&J Truck and Auto Body. They have ASE, PPG, and Gold iCar certifications that allow them to offer you a nationwide warranty. And they'll work with your insurance company so you're pleased with the outcome. J&J Truck and Auto Body, 1513 East Philadelphia.
Insurance. We all need it to protect our homes, health, businesses, and belongings. But having adequate coverage is just the beginning. You also need the support of professionals who stand by your side to protect what's important to you. Fisher Rounds & Associates combines the coverage you want with the commitment you need. Fisher Rounds & Associates. At your service, at your side. With offices in Pierre, Mitchell, Watertown, Sioux Falls, and Rapid City.
Someone will come in, they'll have a noise under the hood. We'll go out and take a look at it. We can determine by the type of noise, and usually if we can determine where it's coming from, we can direct them to the piece that has failed. My name is Dick Lemke. Working at Sturtevant's as long as I have, it's definitely become my career. When you need someone to help solve the problem, start with a Sturtevant store near you.
STURTEVANTS, come and see Sturtevant's. Has it Sturtevant's?
Hey, Rapid City, it's Doug Gottlieb. Join me weekdays from 1 to 4 right here on 106.7 FM and 1150 AM. Fox Sports, Rapid City. And now let's get you back to the Nate Brown Show, Rapid City's sports talk show.
Welcome back into the program tonight. How are you? It's always a great day in the Black Hills. We know that. We're in the drive at 5 on a Wednesday on the Nate Brown Show, South Dakota Sports Talk Show, thought-provoking sports talk, and more. Is that our line? Is that our tagline? Thought-provoking sports talk and more. Just sometimes it's not thought-provoking. It's just me trying to, tell you what I think. Yeah, I'm trying, okay? Sometimes we all have to have debates every now and then. It's good for you to hear other perspective, right? It's good. It's good. Healthy. Bill Foley's coming up. He's a Montana sports writer. He's got this story about these high school football coaches I talked about yesterday. If you missed the show yesterday, good stuff, by the way. So you can catch the Nate Brown Show podcast. But these high school football coaches in Montana were recommended to come back by their administration. Athletic director, superintendent, all the way through the line. The administration said we want to renew their contract next year. The school board stepped in and said no. I was like, come on, is this how coaches are going to, we're going to find more coaches this way? Bill Foley covered the story, Butte, Montana. Okay, he's coming up. I want to get his perspective. What's the real story on this? Speaking of high school coaches, Matt Mcintosh is in. Rapid City Christian has a new head football coach. It is Matt Mcintosh. So we'll talk Rapid City Christian new head man. He was the assistant at Stevens the last couple of years. Matt Mcintosh now the head coach for the Comets. And we'll talk to Matt Mcintosh in the Drive at 5 here tonight, brought to you by Summit Automotive Group. Again, when it comes to the selection, pre-owned vehicles, kind of hard to find right now. Stacy and Matt have already done the work. Take a look. SummitAutoGRP.com. Take a look. Car buying truly built around you. Before you buy, stop by SummitAutoGRP.com. All right. High school football and high school sports in general, there's something that has recently started, okay? And I was going through this today. I was looking at, okay, what type of questions are they asking and things like this. And then I took a step back and I said, what do we think about this process in 2022? So here's what's going on at some high schools. I can't tell you if this has happened at a high school in South Dakota. I'm going to do some work on that. So I don't know if this is happening at a high school in South Dakota, but I'm seeing this. Some high school athletic teams, at the end of the season, they are having the players do the coach evaluation. So, this is interesting. I was looking at this story about the Montana high school football coaches yesterday, and what goes into this? So the personnel that evaluates and observes and monitors these coaches recommend they come back, and then the school board, made up of community members / parents, maybe say, no, we don't want them back. And I go, what's the whole process here? And it got me thinking, and then I saw this today, and I'm going, some high schools now have even another process where it's not the parents or anything evaluating the coach. They're now having the players in exit meetings, essentially, anonymously. You get to say, here's what I think. And I went through one of the evaluations today, the questions that they ask. Okay, how was practice? Was the coach on time? Was he fair? And I mean, it goes through the long line. I went through all the questions today. And I just started thinking, I want to put this into the question of the day on the program today to the audience. What do you think of having high school players, the players now, filling out an end-of-year evaluation of their coach? On the surface, I think the quick answer, I think most of you would say, well, any evaluation and feedback is good because we need to know the players are experiencing it. The players are in the program, and sometimes you need to just kind of find out in general what the program is like because you can't be there every second of every day and that whole thing. I think a lot of people would say that. I'm not so sure about it. Maybe I sound like, it's just players, do what I tell you and don't question anything. I'm not that guy, but I do wonder, okay, high school kids, rather young still. Okay, I want to make sure we don't have any shenanigans going on, meaning, well, I didn't get to play, or I have a little conflict with the coach, or my folks don't really like the coach because of this, and so now I'm going to rank him 2 on that and 1 on that. And do we get an accurate picture is the deal here. So some high schools have started this. I found some of the evaluation forms looking through this and going, what do we learn from it? Is it as valuable? Is it a valuable tool? Or is it just it's just a tool. The AD has the meeting too, and we kind of just, we go through this whole process. What do you think of high school players filling out an evaluation of their coach? That's my question of the day on this Wednesday. Let's bring up the vote. 720-1067 if you want in. 720-1067. Interested in what you say. It's interesting vote here. So I gave the options. What do you think of having high school players fill out the end-of-year evaluation for their coaches? Some are doing now. Is it opening a can of worms? Well, okay, opening. Oh, here we go. You just are we getting an accurate picture? Is it opening a can of worms, or is it valuable to do this? Opening a can of worms or valuable to do this? High school specific. 56% of you say opening a can of worms. 44% of you say it's valuable to do this. 720-1067. 720-1067. As I said, today I look at it, I go, and so I'm gonna pull myself back into this as a high school player. I played football, basketball, and then baseball, but that wasn't school baseball, Legion baseball. So I'm just gonna pull myself back into this. Football evaluation, let's say basketball evaluation, high school, I get it. For me, I'm probably filling it out okay. I wasn't like a superstar, but, started, didn't have a bad experience per se. My coach was tough. I mean, but that's kind of the way it was, right? I wasn't too concerned, getting yelled at or having to do this and having to do that. And now it seems like we kind of chip away. Is getting yelled at, well, in what way did they yell at you, and in what way did they do this and this and this? And I know there's some bad experiences out there, I do, but I kind of wonder if we open up the book, we open it up and say, what's wrong with the picture, instead of, no, there haven't been any complaints, everybody seems like it's going pretty well. Is the two squeaky wheels getting the grease, is what I'm saying. That's what I worry about sometimes with this stuff. And I'm hoping overall you just look at it, you bring in all the evaluations, you say, hey, we got 3 here that are way different than the 20 over here. So you're hoping people are aware and people kind of, value, okay, well, we have 20 that say this, an average score, and there's 3 here that are this. Well, what's going on here? You hope that's how it works. I do wonder about, we open up this opportunity. Well, what do you think of this? What did you think of that? What, every city, it almost gets into a little bit of a micromanaging piece, a little bit. It's like, well, you can't just have coaches be the long arm of the law. That's the world today. You can't have them be the long arm of the law too hard on. And then we're micromanaging, and coach, you can't do this, and you got to worry about Jimmy and Tina, and did they get to play, and did they get this, and did they get that, and then it feels like it gets messy. I may sound tough on that. I'm going to ask my new guest. He covers high school sports too, and he's talking about these Montana high school football coaches. He wrote the story on this. The coaches wanted to come back, and the administration wanted them back in Boulder, Montana. And then the school board said, I don't think so. I don't love that. I'm going to ask him this question, or question of the day. What do you think of high school players filling out end-of-year evaluations of their coach these days? Some high schools have implemented this. Like I said, sounds okay. I have some concerns with it. Bill Foley's on the way, Montana sports writer live.
You're listening to The Nate Brown Show. Remember to follow us on Twitter at Nate Brown Show and like us on Facebook by searching Fox Sports Rapid City.
Warren Chemical and Equipment Company has a 5-step lawn care program to make your lawn the best it can be. Let Warren take care of your lawn weeds, plus 5 applications of fertilizer and micronutrients for a green, healthy lawn. We also offer lawn aeration to help your lawn breathe. Warren's 5-Step Lawn Pro Service is the original lawn service company in Rapid City. Single applications of weed and feed or just lawn weeds are also available. Call Warren Chemical and Equipment Company for an estimate on our 5-step lawn care program for your lawn. Phone 342-7644.
Here's your Fox Sports Rapid City forecast. A winter storm watch begins at 6 p.m. Friday night and continues until 6 p.m. Saturday night. Mainly cloudy skies expected tonight with a slight chance for scattered showers. Lows dip down to about 38. Winds out of the southeast 8 to 15 miles per hour. Highs around 65 tomorrow. Scattered thunderstorms likely tomorrow night 45. Overcast. That's your forecast on the Black Hills Sports Station, Fox Sports Rapid City. Currently, it's 52.
Whether you run the race, make the catch, cast a line, pitch a tent, or just look good doing it, Shields Rapid City has your gear. From athletic clothing from your favorite team, cold weather gear to keep you warm, to the best camping selection this side of the Black Hills, and the most stylish and functional women's outerwear and footwear, Shields has the widest selection of the best brands in the business. So when you're ready to get out, get in the game, or get going, get to Shields. Shields, we're right there with you at Rushmore Crossing in Rapid City.
With home values rising in the Black Hills, a home equity loan from Black Hills Community Bank is a great way to get ahead. Thinking about home improvements or projects this summer? Apply for a home equity loan from Black Hills Community Bank. You may have cash in your house that you didn't even know about, and it's a great time to be a homeowner. Just think about the potential of what you could do with a home equity loan. Black Hills Community Bank is ready to help. Get started on your home equity loan at bhcbank.com. Member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Hi, this is Jeremy with Jerry's Cakes and Donuts, inviting you to kickstart your morning by dropping by and grabbing some fresh donuts. I want to thank you for voting us the best in the Black Hills. We're up early making your favorite donuts, so stop by and bring some to the office. Everybody loves Jerry's Cakes and Donuts, and we love you, so stop by, get a great selection to brighten up your day. Serving Rapid City for over 40 years, Jerry's Cakes and Donuts at 109 East Omaha, and remember to like Jerry's on Facebook for some great giveaways.
Broadcasting from the Anytime Auto Sales, Service, and Detail Studio. Sales, service, and side-by-sides. This is Fox Sports Rapid City.
Well, good stuff tonight. Appreciate you listening. As always, the Nate Brown Show live on Fox Sports Rapid City, 106.7 FM, 1150 AM. And catch us on Twitter at Nate Brown Show. Follow the show. Watch it live. Welcome into the studio. I even dress up for you. I have to put on my Fox Sports gear and all that stuff. Don't worry. I mean, it's not the same shirt every day, okay? I got like 6 of these. Is that how many? Fox Sports Rapid City live on the stream at Nate Brown Show on Twitter, at Nate Brown Show on Twitter and YouTube, The Nate Brown Show. Well, I talked about this story yesterday. I'm from Montana. You all know this, okay? So I'm from Montana. I know what's going on up there. It's kinda. Couple of high school football coaches have been recommended by the administration to come back for next year, and then the school board has stepped in and said, no, we're not going to renew those contracts. One's in Boulder, Montana. Another one earlier was Frenchtown. That's just outside of Missoula. Give you a reference there. Bill Foley's a sports writer in Montana, ButteSports.com. You know Butte, Montana? Yes, they're tough up there. Tougher than a $2 steak, I'll tell you that. ButteSports.com. That's where you find it. Bill Foley covered this story, so I wanted to dig into it, and he joins us on the Nate Brown Show. Bill, good to have you. Thanks for the time. How are you?
I'm doing well, Nate. I'm disappointed that you only have 6 shirts, though, because I have like 19 Butte Sports T-shirts that are all
that many?
by now.
Yeah, you've been in the game, man. I need to get with it. Let me ask you about this. So I covered this on this show. We covered a lot of high school sports here, and so my audience really interested. And I threw out the question of the day to my audience. I said, who's in charge, ultimately, of high school coaches' contracts? I said, who should be in charge? The administration or the school board? I asked that question to my audience. Overwhelmingly, they said the administration should be. So Boulder, Montana, administrator, AD, all the way to the superintendent said, yeah, I think we want this football coach back. He's made the semifinals, whatever it is. You know, his record's fine. You know, we want to bring him back. School board stepped in and said, we really don't. What's the story?
Well, you know, it's kind of secretive what the story is, because the school board gets to hide behind the whole, well, this is a personnel move, so we don't have to talk about it. So we really don't know, other than just what he said that she said that he saw. But
right.
But it sure smells of coming down to it's just a personal deal, where whether it was playing time, whether or not maybe they just didn't personally like the coach, or whatever. But whatever it is. A good football coach is now, dealing with not being a football coach anymore, and then worrying about his reputation and his future, employment down the road.
Okay, so I've said this. Bill Foley joins us. ButteSports.com is the site. Montana sports writer talking about this Boulder, Montana coach specifically. I said, I think there's going to be a coaching shortage, Bill. I've talked about that on the show, whether it's South Dakota, Montana, wherever. I just said, I think there's going to be a coaching shortage. The pay's nothing for the time. The commitment's unbelievable. You need thick skin because there's politics and complaints and the whole thing. I said, that category of folks that really want to do this, I think, is getting low. And so I'm curious, why something like this would happen if you have a pretty good situation there, and what the ramifications may be for a high school program.
Yeah, and in Boulder too, they're not used to the success that they've had. They've been to the semifinals of the Class B, which there's a lot of schools in the Class B. Getting that far is tough, especially when you lose your starting quarterback late in the year, like the Boulder Panthers did this year. But they haven't had this kind of success, and in the side note there is they had a really successful girls basketball team. They've won a championship recently. They made a Cinderella run to the championship this year, and the coach is Sarah Lang, who was Clint's wife.
Oh, okay.
And so they're in danger of losing two really good coaches there.
Wow.
Wow. And as you said, both of them were. I know the superintendent really well. He graduated from Butte Central. He was a Butte Central principal for a while. Butte's about 30 miles away from Boulder. But I know him pretty well. He's a good friend of mine, and he not only he hired the Langs, but he liked him enough that he served as a coach under Clint for a couple of years. And he can't say enough about him. He says he's the most popular teacher in the school. He just cares about his kids. He's a quiet guy. If you don't know him, it's going to be hard to talk to him, because unless you're talking Boulder Panthers football or the Pittsburgh Steelers, he doesn't say a whole lot, but when you do talk about the Boulder Panthers with him, you're in a long conversation. You better have an hour,
So he's got some passion. Okay.
Yeah, he's passionate. Yeah, he's passionate. He's dripping with passion.
Is there going to be a groundswell of support? I've seen instances kind of similar to this. Whatever may happen, a board makes a decision, and then there's a bunch of fans, and they say, no, we want this to happen, because it alludes to something like, well, there must be some folks on that board that don't like the way things are going, but are there more folks that do like the way it's going?
Yeah, he's got tremendous support in the community. So it's that's pretty evident. There's people, have been up in arms. You can see it on social media, and you see with the letters being submitted. But the thing about what Clint has is he's got a lot of support from coaches around the state who say they could be next, and they're kind of fed up with it, and also kind of wary of it. They hate seeing this happen to Clint, and I know there's going to be a meeting on Monday now.
Oh, okay. School board meeting? Okay.
Yeah, they called an emergency meeting to discuss it. So, which is interesting, because usually these kind of decisions don't get just overturned,
Is this going to be open? It's going to be open?
As far as I know, yeah. It sounds like it's going to be open. And I know some coaches, like I talked with a coach, Jim Ben from Big Fork, up in your old neck of the woods. And he's planning on driving down if he gets a chance to speak for him. He coached against him, just knows what he's all about. And there's coaches from all around are writing letters and planning on making the trip to Boulder too. So it could be interesting. It's going to be probably a standing room plus kind of a crowd there.
Really interesting.
He has that much support, I believe.
One of the Montana coaches said, Bill, in your story, when a school board makes a decision like this, even though the administration recommends to bring a coach back, one of the coaches said, two bad parents can ruin your career. Do you believe that?
Oh, I definitely believe it. I've seen it happen time and time again. This is relatively new phenomenon where the school boards are overturning the administrators, but I've seen that for years where they can. Yeah, just a parent or two or three can really just make life hell for the coach. If they don't get to the administration, they might get to the coach. But yeah, it doesn't take much, And of course, I'm in the situation. I've been working in Montana for, I've been in Butte for about almost 24 years. First the Montana Standard, and now at Butte Sports, where I'll have parents send me letters and emails, sometimes anonymous, sometimes an email with a name on it, but just to complain to the coach, like, I'm going to somehow take the coach down for them, because their daughter averaged 15 points a game in 7th grade. Why isn't she starting as a sophomore?
Bill Foley's powerful. Yeah, you're not that powerful, but you might be powerful. By the way, this happened, similar story in Frenchtown. I know you don't cover that, but Frenchtown outside of Missoula, coach was recommended to come back from the administration. Same thing, wanted to come back this next year. School board said no, and the whole staff was let go. This is my question, whether it's Montana, South Dakota, whatever. This is the deal. School boards having the ultimate say. I guess they do, Bill, when it comes to contracts, but I believe this is one of those dangerous things that coaches have to look at and go, I don't know if I'm going to put up with this.
Yeah, and I had a coach email me as to why the teachers' unions don't ever stand up, why they can or can't, stand up and try to support these coaches, because this isn't part of their teaching contract.
Sure.
This is a side note.
Maybe that's why. Maybe that's why they don't have any thing to do with it, right?
Yeah. So there's no support for them at all like that. So yeah, it's we're at a point in our society now where we can't, no matter what side of the aisle you're on, you can't talk politics with somebody without calling them a name. Everything. Social media's blowing everything up, and that's really what it came down to now. Is people think, I don't like this, I'm going to blow it up. It's not like, you can't just sit quietly and watch a coach you don't like. You have to take them down.
I'm really curious about Monday night now. I want to stay on this. Boulder, Montana, Monday night, emergency school board meeting for that football coach to discuss it. Well, it'll be interesting. Will he be reinstated there? Bill Foley covering it. ButteSports.com is the website. Bill, good to have you on. I appreciate your time.
Hey, Nate, it was good talking to you, buddy.
Okay, thanks for coming on. Bill Foley, he's up there in Butte, Montana sports writer, ButteSports.com. He's also on Twitter at Foles74. I found him there at Foles74 if you want to follow. ButteSports.com. Interesting, isn't it? Listener text, political pressure from school boards is dangerous for coaches and teachers. Yeah. I don't know. That's the thing is, my motto on this show, right? Do you know the motto on the show? No politics, just sports. Because, our whole world's consumed by politics. And if you wanted to, and I know politics gets into sports, so I can't just ignore this or ignore that. But I really try and have some conversations, some debates, some conversations, not my way or the highway. I don't think you listen to the show to find out this political thought, that political thought, but I think you listen to it, I hope, for some thought-provoking discussion a little bit. Provide some opinion. Hey, no, you're wrong here. And we usually end up having some good times on here, right? So I've always said no politics, just sports, because I like dialing in, giving an escape here. And then you have some of this, though, where politics is getting into everything. Sports, school boards, coaching. It is what it is, right? Politics in high school coaching and parents and the whole thing. It's something. I will tell you. And I couldn't tell you what's going on there. 2 Montana high school football coaches, because it's a personnel issue, so they don't say anything. The administration says bring them back, renew their contract. That's who does the evaluations, the observation, the day-to-day. The school boards aren't in the day-to-day. And then guess what? They let the coaches go, and then who has to hire the new coach? Not them. They don't do any of that. They'll approve the contract, but okay, get the applicants, and I bet you there's going to be a long line of folks lining up to coach in Boulder, Montana. I'll tell you, it's probably 2 miles long. Not quite. It's just getting worse and worse. So then they let go of the coach, and then they tell the AD who said, I want to bring the coach back, no, we're letting him go, and you got to find applicants. Well, hey, nobody applies for jobs anymore. Well, good luck. And then they just say, you do the work. We fire the guy. You do the work. It's a mess. What a mess. Come on. Oh, okay. Monday night. I want to keep an eye on that. My home state there, Montana. I'm going to keep an eye on that. Monday night, emergency school board meeting, Boulder, Montana. Will the administration and some support say, bring this coach back? His name's Clint Lang. He went to the semifinals last year. Or will the school board say, no, we're out? Matt Mcintosh is in next. He is a head football coach. He is stepping into the role. I like to see it. I always say, appreciate our coaches, okay? Matt Mcintosh is the new head football coach at Rapid City Christian. Let's talk to him next.
The Nate Brown Show.
There are times in life when you just have to say, this is a no-brainer, and we are doing it. And right now is one of those times. Renewal by Andersen makes the best windows you can get. They have more 5-star customer reviews than anyone in the industry. And right now you can get Renewal by Andersen windows with no money down, no interest, no payments for a full year with approved credit. A full year. Book your free estimate right now at RBARapidCity.com. Renewal by Andersen. This is one of those times in life. It's a no-brainer. We're doing it.
With 2 locations in Rapid City, Pizza Ranch is ready to serve your family. Every Wednesday is Kids Day. This is the best deal out there with the best buffet in town. One child 12 and under eats free for every regular priced adult at the Pizza Ranch Buffet Wednesdays. And don't forget their senior special every Tuesday for $8.99. The Pizza Ranch Buffet. It's all good at the Pizza Ranch with 2 locations in Rapid City. And remember, daily online specials for carryout or delivery at pizzaranch.com.
I'm Tyler Haugen, and this is my wife Dee, and we own D-Tie Vet Supply.
Pioneer Bank has been very good to us.
All our banking was with Pioneer Bank right now.
What you find oftentimes in big corporate banks is they don't allow people to run their business the way that it should be ran. And without a doubt, it's been just an easy relationship with Pioneer Bank. Very easy.
Yeah, we support them because, they support us. Pioneer Bank and Trust is local.
Pioneer Bank and Trust. Member FDIC.
The doctors and staff at Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center have provided expert bone, joint, and muscle care to patients in the Black Hills area since 1976. Whether you're an elite athlete, a weekend warrior, or just want to continue your active lifestyle, the orthopedic experts at Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center will help you stay in the game. Don't let an injury keep you from doing the things you love. Trust the team at Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center, specializing in what moves you. Learn more at bhosc.com.
Hi, this is David Brenneman with Coldwell Banker in Rapid City. Have you thought about buying your first home or maybe upgrading to a home that you will really love? Real estate is an important investment that you want to get right. I have been in the business of finding the right home for 15 years. To get started, contact me, David Brenneman, at 415-0044. Let's open the door to your new home and say hello to a goodbye with me, David Brenneman, at 415-0044.
Broadcasting from the Anytime Auto Sales, Service, and Detail Studio. Sales, service, and side-by-sides. This is Fox Sports Rapid City.
Oh, good stuff tonight. High energy stuff on a Wednesday, man. It's not a sleepy Wednesday. It's high energy Wednesday on South Dakota Sports Talk Show. Your sports, your show, from the local sports newsmakers to the biggest national names. We try and put it all together on the Nate Brown Show, Fox Sports Rapid City. Remember, if you missed some of the show, you can catch the podcast. Great listens to the podcast. We appreciate that this week. We had Matthew Morse yesterday, transferring from Wisconsin to South Dakota State. That was really insightful to hear from him. Long conversation with Matthew Morse on yesterday's show. The Nate Brown Show podcast is available where you get your podcast, whether it's Apple, Google, Audible, Amazon. It's out there. So the Nate Brown Show podcast, we're on all the platforms. Download it if you missed the show live. Cover high school football, you know that. And Rapid City Christian has a new football coach. It is Matt Mcintosh. Matt Mcintosh has been with Stevens now last couple of years as an assistant for the Raiders. Okay? And now he's the head coach for the Comets. They've just jumped up to 11-man football. Their first year of 11-man was last year. Matt Mcintosh joins us on the Nate Brown Show. Matt, it's good to talk to you. Thanks for coming on. How are you?
Thanks, Nate. I'm doing well. I'm excited to be here. Thanks for having me.
All right. Let me get into the first things first. You've been a coach and coached some middle school, and so you're active there. You went over to Stevens. You've been in that program the last couple of years. Give me your full view of, hey, I want to be a high school football coach, because I feel like sometimes that list is getting shorter. Why do you want to do it?
Yeah, I was listening to some of the earlier discussions there, and it's tougher and tougher these days, but it's just something I've been passionate about. You know, I grew up playing football. I have been coaching in the Rapid City area for the last 8-9 years, and so it's just something I really enjoy, and I've enjoyed my time both at Southwest and at Stevens. I had some great experiences, and you know, you really grow to love these kids, and it's been a pleasure, and I'm looking forward to this next opportunity.
Okay, so you kind of have to be excited, Matt, right? Like, it's like, okay, you've been a head coach before, and now you were an assistant over there at Stevens, running your own program there a little bit, but now it's like, okay, now I'm running the whole program, the whole team, being the head guy. What are you excited about there?
Yeah, you know, it is. It's an exciting opportunity to be the guy now, and I'm really looking forward to this opportunity. I did meet with Kyle Courtney, the AD at Christian, and he walked me through the facilities, and, you know, they've really put a lot of money into that program. They have a great new basketball space, new locker rooms, a brand new weight room. They've got Scott Vincent's program in there. I mean, they really had all the pieces in place. So for me, it was really a no-brainer. They've got everything here to be successful, including classes that are getting bigger and bigger each year, more and more kids playing football. So all that stuff added up, and I'm ready to go.
Matt Mcintosh is on tonight. He's the new head football coach, Rapid City Christian. So, you know, they've had some other coaches in there. They were 9-man. Then they jumped to 11-man last year. They're staying 11-man, obviously, but now another new coach. So what do you tell the players? You know, some guys move on, I get it, but some of these kids have been in there. They've had 3 different coaches now. What do you tell those players?
Yeah, and that's really, it's tough for these kids. The buzzword you hear all the time now is culture, and creating a culture and sort of breeding the success. Well, that's really hard to do when you don't have a consistency at the top. And so when I was first considering this opportunity, my number one thought was, can I devote 4 or 5 years to this to really see if what I'm doing is working? And so part of my approach is going to be, I'm here. I'm here for the long haul. I've been doing this for a number of years now, and I'm looking forward to turning this program around, and we'll build those relationships and that trust with the kids, and I think it'll happen sooner than later.
Matt Mcintosh on Rapid City Christian, head football coach. What's key for you when you step in, you say, okay, a Matt Mcintosh program, we got to have players that are doing this. You talked about culture. What does that mean? Is it the off-season work? Is it the camaraderie of a team? What does that mean for building a program?
Yeah, I mean, you hit it on the head. It's really all of those things. We got to get into work. I've watched some film of Christian, and you see some of these programs, and number one, we got to get bigger and stronger. I think that's the same issue we've had at Stevens as well. You just got to get in the weight room, and I think the Benson program, the athletic facilities, the weight room is going to help with that. So that's number one. And number two is we got to get good at what we're going to do. And my philosophy is I'm going to have a set core of plays, and we're going to run them well. And we're going to execute, and we're going to repetitively just do them over and over again until we can do them in our sleep. I don't think you have to have a million plays to be successful. You just have to do what you do well. And that's going to be our focus, is we're going to execute, and we're going to play well on both sides of the football and special teams.
Okay, you don't have to give me your scheme tonight, but in high school football, do we win with spread it out, throw it? Do we win with double wing, smash mouth? Or is it, I got to look at the players here, or can you make the players fit your scheme? What is it?
Yeah, great question. I think for me, it's you know, you have a square peg, you're trying to cram in a round hole. That doesn't work. I think number one for me will be looking at the personnel, see what do we have for talent. Do we have a quarterback that can sling it? A running back that can really get downhill, and receivers that can catch. And I have that core set of plays that I think we can run really no matter who's there. But then you really start developing what you're going to be good at, and that'll take some time. But we'll figure that out here shortly.
Okay, I'll ask you about the competitive nature of this. Rapid City Christian just stepped up from 9-man to 11-man. How much of an uphill climb is this? Because the program, pretty good now. I said, hey, they were competing in 9-man. I saw them last year. They won some games. How competitive is it? How hard is it at the level? Only the second year at 11-man.
Yeah, I think there's a challenge. You're moving up. You got some great schools in 11B. There's no disputing that the winter program over there is a well-oiled machine, and they play well. They're big boys. They come out firing, and so there's some uphill battles there. But I think we can be very competitive in our conference. I think if we come out and execute well right away, we're going to be competitive. We're going to be right in the running.
Matt Mcintosh on tonight, Rapid City Christian's new head football coach. He comes over from Stevens and now the head coach for the Comets. Coach, we'll be talking to you again. Congrats on it. I appreciate you coming on.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
You bet. Good to talk to him. Matt Mcintosh is the new head coach, Rapid City Christian. The Comets head man. He comes over as an assistant there with Michael Scott at Stevens the last couple of years, and this will be interesting to watch. I've said this. Rapid City Christian now, they're rolling out there. I don't know if anybody, I said quite a while ago, I said they're starting to roll out there a little bit. Basketball, volleyball, I mean, and just as a school, okay? So, I know we do a sports show here, but I started looking at this going, Rapid City Christian reminds me of a Sioux Falls Christian maybe 5, 6, 7 years ago. Sioux Falls Christian, you kind of felt them coming a little bit out there, and now they've become very, very good in basketball and very good in football. And I said, Rapid City Christian kind of feels like that's coming. And all of a sudden they went, enrollment's bigger. They go 9-man, now they're 11-man. I feel like Rapid City Christian's rolling out there. It'll be interesting to watch. Can the Comets football program get cranking a little bit? Matt Mcintosh, the new head coach, joins us tonight. Catch him on the podcast if you missed it. The Nate Brown Show podcast will be out tonight. I got to wrap up tonight with who's hot and who's not. Well, we know this. Tom Brady's new contract. I just saw this. Did you see this? What changed with Tom Brady's new contract? Did you see this news? It's in my Who's Hot category on the way.
You're listening to The Nate Brown Show, streaming live at FoxSportsRapidCity.com and right here on 106.7 FM and 1150 AM Fox Sports Rapid City.
Hello, this is Robbie at Bargain Barn Tire Pros. At Bargain Barn Tire Pros, we are what we like to call your one-stop vehicle shop. Some of you don't realize that we're more than just a tire shop. We are a full-service center. We do brakes, shocks, alignments, and we also do exhaust. So if your vehicle is loud or making a squeak, call the pros at Tire Pros. 1610 Campbell Street, 1811 Deadwood Avenue, or look us up on the web at bargainbarntire.com.
Here's your Fox Sports Rapid City forecast. A winter storm watch begins at 6 p.m. Friday night and continues until 6 p.m. Saturday night. Mainly cloudy skies expected tonight with a slight chance for scattered showers. Lows dip down to about 38. Winds out of the southeast 8 to 15 miles per hour. Highs around 65 tomorrow. Scattered thunderstorms likely. Tomorrow night 45. Overcast. That's your forecast on the Black Hills Sports Station, Fox Sports Rapid City. Currently, it's 52.
Everyone knows scratch tickets make great gifts during the holidays. But think about it. Scratch tickets are a perfect pick-me-up for a lot of occasions. Need to thank someone? Give them a scratch. Need to say I'm sorry like you really mean it? Give a scratch. Say congrats to that promotion. New house or your friend's new dog that looks more like a possum than a poodle. You know that thing likes a good scratch. The next time you need a gift that says whatever like you mean it, quit scratching your head and just give them a scratch. Scratch tickets from the South Dakota Lottery. Good fun. Must be 18 to play. Please play responsibly.
If you're in the market for a vehicle right now, you probably have noticed it's sometimes hard to find the right one. That's where Summit Automotive Group steps in. Stacy and Matt and their staff working hard to get a great selection of pre-owned vehicles at affordable prices. At Summit Automotive, they have a different outlook on selling you a vehicle. You'll experience stress-free shopping, friendly, honest service with no high-pressure sales gimmicks. Before you buy, drop by East Highway 44, SummitAutoGRP.com.
Broadcasting from the Anytime Auto Sales, Service, and Detail Studio. Sales, service, and side-by-sides. This is Fox Sports Rapid.
All right, let's roll on a Wednesday to the Pizza Ranch. Why? It is kids' night tonight. One child 12 and under eats free for every regular priced adult. Tonight, Wednesday at the Pizza Ranch Buffet. 2 locations in Rapid City. The buffet's open till 8 tonight, so it's dinner time right now. Listening to the Nate Brown Show. The Pizza Ranch. Kids night. Hit it. Enjoy it. Great place. No picky eaters at the Pizza Ranch because they have everything. You know, you take the kids there, they have everything. Pizza Ranch, who's hot and who's not on the Nate Brown Show. Wrapping it up as we always do every night at this time. Who's hot and who's not. Did you see the new details with Tom Brady's contract now? So he retires, then he unretires. What's the real story? What's the future of Tom Brady? This gives me a glimpse. I'm going to put this in my who's hot category because I don't think this is the last year for Tom. It doesn't feel like that. Here's the new restructured deal unveiled. This is from the Boston Globe. The contract that he restructured, he just restructured it with Tampa Bay. It doesn't add any additional years to his Tampa Bay deal. So what this means to me, if he doesn't retire after this season, Tom Brady's a free agent. Tom Brady's a free agent again? Again? I think this is it. I think Tom Brady's like, okay, 1 year. I guess I'm going to go back to the Buccaneers. That was kind of the only thing I could do. So I'll do that. Restructure the deal. No more years. He could have signed an extension to help out the whole cap situation and everything. Didn't sign an extension. That's it. Restructured it, and he'll be a free agent after this next season. How about that? In our Pizza Ranch Who's Not category, well, I got to go to this story. It's out of Alabama. It's a high school soccer story out of Alabama. This one just hit the wire. So we got two teams from one school playing in the 6A state championship tournament, okay? So state finals here. They're in it's soccer, Alabama, 6A, big class. Same school, girls and boys. They had a couple of ineligible players, so to speak, because why? Each program had a couple of players that had come in from out of state, okay? There's a story on it. You can look at it. Spanish Fort, boys and girls soccer, Alabama. A couple of players came in from out of state. The Alabama Activities Association said, that's against our rules. They didn't have, the transfer rules, and you have to have your whole family, not just coming in from out of state and playing. So they played all year. They're in the state finals tournament, and those two programs just got axed. They had they had a couple of players. I know. You got to watch that. I don't like it. But you know what I don't like? I think you could have just taken out the players. Could you not just taking out the players that were ineligible that maybe they helped the team make these state finals, whatever it is? You have to take out the whole team? Now, again, we'll see. Did the team knowingly do this and skirt the rules, and so now the team's in big trouble? Maybe there was some of that responsibility, and maybe they're culpable. Maybe that's a problem. But it kills me for the teammates on that team that maybe had no idea. Like, I don't know. I'm playing soccer. We're in the state final. We're in good shape. Girls and boys, Alabama, 6A state playoffs. And the two teams gone because of a couple of individual players. I would have taken out the players, not the whole teams. Now those players are out of luck. Back tomorrow on the Nate Brown Show. It's NFL Draft Night, and we'll be back here at 4. Thanks for listening. Catch the Nate Brown Show podcast. It'll be out there tonight. Great show tonight. Thanks. We'll see you tomorrow.